Obviously, a great win on Saturday against UConn. Proud of our football team for really rising to the occasion there in the second half, playing our best football in the fourth quarter. Proud of the guys, just the attitude, the effort, the character, the toughness, all those things that go into it. Our guys stayed together. Obviously our biggest thing we need to attack is solving our own problems on what we need to do to start the game better. But in saying that, it's a win, and I'm really proud of our guys for finding a way to get that done. So, but as you know, it's on to the next one. It's homecoming here, and we play Eastern Michigan. They're going to come in here hungry. We're hungry. Both teams sit at 4-3, so there's a lot on the line, and obviously excited looking ahead that the weather looks like it's going to be another awesome Saturday here at Schumann Stadium. So we're well into our preparation. Obviously, both clubs have played 7 football games right now, so there's a lot of tape to evaluate, study, and put a game plan together. So, obviously focused on having a great week of preparation and getting ready to go for Saturday.
We'll take questions in here. Go ahead.
Yeah, Samson Evans sits third in the MAC in rushing, and that Eastern Michigan rushing attack has been pretty effective this year. What's the plan for stopping that?
Yeah, obviously he's been a player that we're very familiar with. We've played against him. They've utilized him extremely well in their offense, not only at running back, but in a wildcat situation where they direct snap it to him. So good football player, and they do a great job from a scheme standpoint of just getting the ball into his hands. But it's no different. We played some great running backs here. Lou Nichols a couple weeks ago, obviously the Northern Illinois stable running backs that we played, but we've got to tackle well, and it's no different starting in this game. Obviously, we work as hard as anybody does when you talk about a tackling circuit, making sure our guys are gap sound in the run game. We've got good eyes, all the things that go into it. So it's no different this week. Obviously, it's another good football player that's playing at a high level in our league right now. So we got to do a good job of stopping the run, and it all starts with our guys being committed to doing their job.
Up and down from offense in the first half against UConn, coming up against a pretty big defensive line for Eastern Michigan and Jose Ramirez. How are you guys going to shake the cobwebs out?
Yep, no question. Obviously, from a passing game standpoint, the last 2 weeks not been as good as we need to be. So, what do we got to do to make sure that we get John settled in, get John comfortable? Obviously, the great thing is our passing game not being as good as it needed to be the last 2 weeks. We were still able to get a win, but yes, we got to attack those problems, and we're well aware of that. John is the ultimate competitor. I know he'll respond, but we got to do a good job of getting him comfortable. Obviously, you mentioned Jose Ramirez. He leads our conference in sacks. Good football player. You got to pay attention to good football players, so we got to have a plan in place for him. And as you mentioned, they've got good size on their defensive line, and they're very active. So we got to do a good job of having a good plan in place.
One of the bigger weekends of the season in terms of football homecoming, what does it mean to you to see how many fans come out and the support from the alumni for your football team? Yeah, and
obviously I love homecoming because I think about when I was not here as the head football coach, and I always try to do a good job of circling homecoming on my calendar when I did not live close by, because you want to make plans to try to come back, see guys, former players that you were with, or for our alums to see former friends that they haven't seen since their college days. So it's a big deal that way. It's obviously a lot. It's an action-packed week leading up to Saturday. But I'm thankful, obviously, to have great weather in the forecast here for Saturday, and to have another great day here at Schumann Stadium. We got to make sure we do our part as a football team. We got to have a great week of practice here and get ourselves ready to go for a battle.
Do you remember what your first experience was like in the 90s at homecoming?
Well, I don't remember my first one, but I remember my last one in the 90s. And so homecoming game, my final year here, obviously, when we played Toledo and were able to come from behind, we were down 30-3 in the second half and came back and won 31-30. I just remember everybody left at halftime, and rightfully so. And then for us to come back and win, and that was a great day and a lot of fun. I'll never forget that one. That one's always at the top of my list, and obviously still talk every time I get a chance to talk to my former teammates. That seems to come up, which is not a bad thing.
Mike, Eastern Michigan is first in the MAC and then top 10 in red zone offense. How do you slow it down?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they do a good job of utilizing their players and get the ball in the hands of their playmakers, and they've been very efficient down there. So obviously we have a good plan in place, but it starts with being a good tackling team, starts with being a good disciplined team. What are they putting on tape? Is there something they're doing from a scheme standpoint that shows up week in, week out in the red zone that they hang their hat on? So we got to do a good job with our film study and having a good plan in place, but certainly got to credit them for being efficient down there and capitalizing once they get down to the red zone. So it'll be a good challenge, but I know our guys will be ready to go.
Last 2 weeks have only given up 7 points defensively in the second half. What's been the biggest key in the second half on the defense?
Our guys simply have played better football, better team defense in the second half. We played better overall as a team in the second half, especially the last 3 weeks. So I think our guys get stronger as the game goes on. That speaks to their conditioning. That speaks to their toughness, both mentally and physically, because it's a 4-quarter game. These games in this conference, no different than a week ago in UConn. These games are 4-quarter games, so you have to be ready to roll for 60 minutes, and the game's going to ebb and flow. So you got to be able to make sure that you have that that next play mentality, and that's got to be there for 4 quarters. And our guys have really done a good job of that, and I expect that to continue.
What's it like going up against Chris Creighton-led Eastern Michigan team?
Yeah, they're going to be ready to play. That's the one thing that you're going to get their best effort when they come in here, and they're very sound football team that's coached up well in all 3 phases. So we got to be ready to go, and we've had some battles with them, especially the last 3 years, and I expect that to be the same thing this weekend.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Questions on Zoom?
Yeah, you talk about kind of coming out stronger. How do you emphasize that, or turn that into results on the field? It seems like once the second half starts, you guys are gung ho. How do you get that started in the first quarter?
Yeah, that's what we're obviously hard at work trying to get solved. Obviously, I've had lengthy discussions with the coaching staff. What can we do to make sure the guys get settled into the game faster? I know going into kickoff, it was no different than when I was a player. You got some nerves, some butterflies. You got a few nerves. You got to get those things settled. Once the ball gets kicked off, you got to settle in and play the game. So making sure that at the beginning of the game that we keep it simple so our guys can go play fast and execute at a high level. Obviously, I've had meetings with our leadership council yesterday just to make sure, man, is there anything that they see from their vantage point? Do they feel fresh when the ball's kicked off? Do they feel mentally ready to go? Is there anything that we need to tweak with our schedule, whether it's leading up to game day or the morning of game days? Anything we need to tweak? So obviously working on that. That's something that we got to be able to solve our own problems, and the goal is to play 4 quarters of good football in all 3 phases. So that's what you work towards every single week, and that's no different this week.
Yeah, and obviously the recipe, kind of like you talked about Saturday, has been the same the past 3 weeks, coming back in the second half. Is that just kind of the makeup of this team, or is that kind of play sustainable, or would you like to see, obviously better play in the first half?
Well, no, there's no question you want to see 4 quarters of that. There's no question of that. But really what needs to be emphasized and talked about more than anything is just the character of our football team, the toughness of our football team, the can-do positive attitude of our football team. Those are the things that you want to make sure that they get talked about, and those guys know that, man, that's what it takes ultimately, to continue to believe, even though things might not go exactly according to script. As long as you believe, and we continue to do that as a football team, we can accomplish anything that we want to. So I really want to credit our players and credit our coaching staff for making some adjustments at halftime, so our guys could go out and make a few tweaks in the second half and go execute and go win a game. So really proud of that. But yeah, certainly the goal is to not have to repeat that every week. But hey, if that's what the formula is and that's what it takes, the most important thing is to get a win.
Sure. And, obviously some of the wide receivers and Jay Sean went down and Johans left the game early. Are there any updates on them or timetables? Yeah,
I think those guys are day-to-day right now. So, I know they're working hard with our training staff. They're doing a great job of making sure that, they do their part to get recovered the best they can. So they'll be day-to-day. Obviously, today's an off day for the players, so we'll be back out on the practice field tomorrow. And, I'm hoping that those guys will be back out there.
Yeah, and you talked about kind of the passing game earlier, kind of looking internally. What are the things that you guys need to fix to kind of get that passing game back on track?
Yeah, there's nothing major. I think more than anything, we got to get John settled down. Get him, playing the way that he's capable of playing. I think it's only natural sometimes. When you're a competitor, the way he is a competitor, you try to force a few throws, or maybe you hang on a route a little bit too long and not work through the progression. So those are things that he recognizes that on his own when he watches the tape. So, that's great. And number one, that he's able to recognize that. And then obviously when you have a conversation with him, he's great that way. So we'll work hard at making sure that they're passing game concepts that he feels very comfortable with. What are the ones that are best for him, and then we'll just build on that. But we just got to get him settled in. He doesn't have to do it all by himself. And obviously he's had some great games in the last couple of weeks. Just from a passing game number standpoint, they've been down a little bit, but we'll just keep working, and we'll get him back where he needs to be at.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yep.
First and foremost, a pretty big week in the football season for you guys. What does homecoming mean to you?
Homecoming really don't mean much for the players. We not really a part of the festivities and stuff like that. We really just, trying to get a win on homecoming. Really just getting a win is the most important part. And obviously, you don't want to lose on homecoming. Really, that's really just all I really can say about that. We attacking it like every game. Nothing different. Bigger. The moment ain't bigger than anything. It's just another game. We need to go out there and come out 1-0.
2, 4, and 3 teams in the MAC going at it on Saturday. What's your guys' mental state going into it?
Like I said, just getting a win. It's always a battle with these guys, and we want to end up on top, obviously, and be 1-0 in the MAC again. So we just want to keep the ball rolling, and like I said, get another win.
Samson Evans and that Eastern Michigan rushing attack has been pretty effective this season. What's going into the conversation to stop that?
Stop the run really is to just go out there and do better than we've been doing. Obviously, we want to keep getting better every game, and just stop that rushing attack and then force them to do other things other than just run the ball. And feel like if we do that, and we'll come out how we want to after the game.
Ball State's been pretty effective in the second half compared to the first half this season. What's going through the conversation to make sure that first half is just like the second half?
Really just, like you just said, we've been coming out second half on fire. We want to come out the whole game on fire and, put a full game together, offense and defense. And, I feel like if we do that, there's really nobody that can stop us. So.
It seems like everybody on the defensive back group has been making plays the last couple of weeks. How does that speak to the depth of what the DB room looks like right now?
Really just showed, I was telling guys in the spring that, we deep, we hungry. Everybody on the team hungry. Like I said, it's a lot of guys that haven't had that much experience up until now. And it really shows, how hungry they are, just happy to be out there, ready to just put it all out there for the team. And, we've been rotating, keeping that rotation going, and everybody been stepping up big. My boy Jordan Riley just got a MAC West Player of the Week, so that's big. Youngin coming in, he really been big for us this year.
What has he done to establish himself back there?
His communication has just gotten way better. Obviously he's young, but just being out there and really kind of seeing the flow of the game, I'm real impressed with how he's been playing this year, and hopefully we can just keep it on the uptrend.
Overall, what is the biggest growth point for this defense from week 1 to now, week 8?
Really just, keep getting after it. We ain't never satisfied. Obviously giving up 21 points to UConn in the first half was not what we were trying to do. But we came out in the second half, posted a shutout, but we want to start from the beginning and, keep the ball rolling and hopefully, just shut out for the whole game, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Questions on Zoom?
You talk about, obviously want to get started from the beginning of the game. What's it going to take in your mind to come out in the first half like you guys have been coming out in the second half?
I feel like it's going to be on our leaders and really just really honing in on, look, bro, we can't keep coming out slow because at one time it's going to come back and bite us, and we don't want that to happen. So we really just want to get going from the jump and see what we really can do that way, getting it going from the jump. As a team, I feel like if we do that, like I said, it's going to be hard to stop us.
Yeah, and Eastern Michigan's kind of an interesting team. Just the schedule that they've had this year, beating Arizona State and then struggling their two MAC games. What's the biggest focus defensively for you guys coming in this week?
Really just everybody doing their job, trust the guys around you that all 11 of us are going to get the job done. And really just going out there, like I said, winning that game is always a battle with this team. And we're looking forward to it. And obviously, we trying to come out on top, so we're going to do everything we need to do to get a win this week.
Yeah, it seems like the defense these past couple weeks especially, when you guys need that shift, you've been able to get that, whether it's an interception or a fumble or a big sack. What allows this unit to, make the plays when it matters most?
Just not letting the moment get too big. I mean, everything, what we've been talking about with Coach Stark, the expectation is domination, and that's how we go out every play and really just trying to, make a play for the defense, make a play for the offense, and just really go out there and do what we can to help this team win.
Yeah. I think you talked about, if you guys put together full 4 quarters, no one can stop this team. If this team can't put together four full quarters, what do you think this team's kind of capable of moving forward?
All I can say is it'll be scary if we can do that. And, we trying to get on that uptrend to be able to do that. And, like, later games in November, you want to win in November. That's what you got to do, put a full team together, full game together and go out there, Hopefully we'll be in the spot we want to be in at the end of the year.
Sure. That's all I got. Thank you.
Yeah, no
Thanks,
problem.
AJ.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
All right.